Welcome to the Libra Love Lounge, the show where I read posts on Reddit and give them relationship advice. My name is Eliana Camargo, and let's jump into the first post. I may have ruined my relationship when I called out my boyfriend for lying about his age. How did you ruin the relationship when he's lying about his age? What? I, 40 male, met this guy, 44 male, earlier this year, and we really hit it off. He's incredibly handsome, intelligent, emotionally open, and sweet guy, originally from Turkey. I really love spending time with him. He and I can talk for hours about anything. He's so empathetic and insightful. I've not dated someone I had this kind of ease with in a long time. In fact, I liked him so much that I started on my own to learn Turkish, just so we'd have an additional way to communicate. I have an ear for languages and ended up really taking a shine to it. After I'd picked up some basic grammar and vocabulary, I told him I was learning it and he was overjoyed. It was like a scene out of a bad rom-com. Oh, it clearly was a bad rom-com because this doesn't have a happy ending because he's been lying this whole time. He kept pointing to things at brunch and making me say them in Turkish. He said he didn't meet any Americans who bothered to learn, and he seemed genuinely moved. Oh, that's so sweet. A part of my mind was like, that could be a little bit creepy that he's learning the language, but I don't know why that would have been creepy. That's just cute, and clearly the boyfriend thinks so as well. I think it brought our relationship to a new level. I started to think this guy might be that elusive long-term relationship I'd always wanted but could never usually sustain past a year. I'm curious, so has he never had a relationship past a year and he's now 40? Which, there's no shame to that. I'm just curious if that's what his history has been. Could also show why he's overlooking this giant red flag that he seems to be questioning in the title. Fast forward to a few weeks ago. I came across his Twitter. Love that we're all still calling it Twitter and not X, because who names a social media website X? It just doesn't make any sense. Elon, you were out of your mind. It's definitely still Twitter. He'd briefly been a writer in Turkey, and I was curious to see if I could find some of his articles. He didn't tweet much, and it was all in Turkish, but I noticed a photo of himself he had posted from 5 years ago, because in it he had a gray beard. I'd only known his beard to be black. Also, he's really trying to act younger than his age. And I'd learned enough Turkish by then to be able to read the caption. I'm proud to be 50 years old today. Meaning now he isn't 44 like I thought. He's actually 55 years old. Wow, that's a big discrepancy. Mid-50s is probably the highest ceiling of my age range for dating, but a 55-year-old would not be out of the question. Once you're both past 30, a lot of that doesn't matter much anymore, really. He never directly said he was 44, but that was what was on his Tinder profile. Well, it kind of sounds like he's directly saying that he's 44 if he put it on his Tinder profile. I do remember thinking he looked on the older side, but I didn't think much of it. Ooh, okay. I mentioned to a few friends what I had found out, and a lot of them thought it was a major red flag. Not his age, but that he'd lied on his profile. Exactly, yeah, the age doesn't matter. If you don't care, if that's a fine age range for you, that's not what matters here. It's why is he lying? Why is he so insecure about his age? And if he's lying about this, if he's okay lying about this, what else is he lying about? They said that him dyeing his beard meant that he was intentionally trying to deceive me. Exactly. At first, I didn't think it was that bad. I thought maybe he was a little delicate about aging, like a midlife crisis or something. No. I gave him some openings to reveal his true age, but he always avoided the subject. Yeah, that's another red flag that it is true that he's lying. I never gave any evidence of when he was born. It was the first time I felt like I couldn't talk to him directly about something. The more I thought about it, the more I realized I was really uncomfortable about the lie, as you should be. We were walking together 2 weeks ago, and I looked at his black beard and suddenly blurted out, "You don't have to dye your beard." He looked at me confused and asked what I was talking about. I told him that I knew his beard was really gray and that he dyed it, but that he didn't have to. "I didn't dye my beard," he said. It was the first time I knew he lied to me to my face. So I told him that I saw his tweet and I knew he dyed it, and that I knew he wasn't in his 40s, he was in his 50s. But I told him that it didn't matter to me. I told him that it would be better just to be honest because what we have is special. And here's where I really messed up, I think. I thought to switch into Turkish that we have sometimes used. I meant to say, "I don't care that you're older," but as I played it back in my head, what I really said was, "I don't care that you're old." Oh no! That's just making a bad situation worse. I don't care that you're old. Like, it's understandable with the language barrier. They're not fluent in Turkish. They didn't realize what they were saying. They were trying to be cute, but it just, that was the universe just like stabbing the wound that he has about being old. That's so funny. We walked for a bit in silence. I asked him what he was thinking, but he didn't say much. When we got to a subway station, he said he had to go home to do some work. Sure. He kissed me and he left. We haven't hung out since. We've texted a little, but his responses are short or just small talk. He's never free to get together. I worry that the relationship is over. If it is, that's a favor. Like, you literally told him, hey, it's okay that you've been lying to me. You don't have to dye your beard. I'm okay with your age, all of that. And he's like, shit, I was found out. And now he's the one making his slow exit when really it should be. Like, that's just wild that you like validated that it's okay. His true identity is okay. And he's like, well, I'm not okay with it, so I'm gonna see my way out. Wow, that's the universe doing you a favor though, honestly. What can I do? Is his lie a bigger red flag than I think? And should I just let this relationship end? Or if not, what should I do to fix this? Any advice you can provide is really appreciated. Yeah, that's bad. That's really bad. And his reaction to it is even worse, for sure. It's not about what age he is. It's the fact that he's lying about his age and he's trying to cover it up by dyeing his beard and then lying about dyeing his beard. Like, he's clearly super insecure about it. It makes me wonder what the motive is behind all of this. Like, beyond him being fearful of aging and also wanting to attract a younger man. You know, I guess he's like creating this fantasy in his head of, if I just pretend that I'm 44 and I tell everyone I'm 44 and I date a man who's in his 40s, then I am 44. And he didn't like that you bust the bubble of his illusion. It's weird to me. I don't get this. I definitely think that this is a giant red flag, that if he's okay lying about this, what else is he okay lying about? Like, I know he has all of these other great qualities. Most people do. When you get into a relationship with them, they have lots of great qualities. You know, like him, he's 40 and he's never been in a relationship that's lasted longer than a year, and he thinks this might be the elusive long-term relationship that he's been searching for his whole life. And so it makes it hard to let go of someone when they're great in all of these ways, except they've been lying about their age this entire time. And when you call him out about it, instead of being like, oh, I'm so glad that you accept the real me, he's like, let me just go ghost. Let me slowly fizzle out of here. That's wild. You deserve someone who doesn't lie to you, and who, when you approach issues like this, actually wants to communicate about them and maybe talk about, you know, do some shadow work with you and talk about why he's lying about his age and all of that, instead of fizzling out. Like, that's so wild to me. I always think that being single is better than being with a liar. 100%. I know you've been wanting a long-term relationship your whole life. It's better to wait for one that's actually good in all of the areas, and the areas that matter, like them being an honest person that you can trust. Sometimes having that thought of like, is this finally gonna be the one? Having that thought constantly whenever you're dating someone can actually energetically push people away and push a long-term partner away. And instead dating someone and just like living in the present moment and not worrying too much about if this is the one or not can be the energetic state that you need to be in order to attract a long-term partner. And I know it can get a little bit difficult when you're 40 and you've never had a long-term relationship. It can be hard to not get in your head and be like, oh my God, is this finally the one? It can also, the longer time goes by that you haven't been in a long-term relationship, kind of spiral you deeper into these subconscious beliefs of you're never gonna find someone like that. And anytime you are dating someone, you get even more and more anxiously attached. It can be helpful to sort of unravel those beliefs and unravel your attachment to needing a relationship, which I know is not an easy feat, but it's definitely doable. And finding complete contentment and peace being single unless you find someone who actually makes it worth not being single. Like, love being single so freaking much that dating someone who would lie about their age is like an immediate turn off, and you're like, no, thank you. I think I'd actually rather be on my own for potentially the rest of my life than be with someone like that. And not worrying so much if someone's gonna be your long-term relationship or not trying to fit them into that mold. And once you get into that state and you completely detach, that's when that person will find you. Again, easier said than done, requires a lot of introspection and journaling and unraveling all of your limiting beliefs and healing your attachment style and all of that, but definitely something that's worth pursuing, 1,000,000%. But let's see what the comments have to say. If this is ruined, it isn't because of you. He got caught out in a lie that was told either for vanity or to manipulate people / you into dating him. Everyone gets to decide who they date and what their boundary is, and he didn't let you make that choice for yourself. Please don't feel bad. You did nothing wrong. Even if your imperfect Turkish landed badly, he's likely gone quiet because he's been found out. Don't make yourself the scapegoat for his crappy choices blowing up. Exactly. Please note how the problem has gone from he lied about his age to I maybe hurt his feelings and how I brought up that he had actively been lying for our whole relationship. The victim here is you, not him. He owes you an apology. I doubt you'll get it though, because he sounds extremely manipulative. Trying to chase after him just means things will continue on his terms, where he can do whatever he wants, and even mentioning something weird he did while actively telling him it's okay means you're in the wrong. That isn't emotionally open, sweet, or empathetic. Sorry, but you're seeing what you want to. All right, next post. How to politely tell him I'm not interested in him in a romantic way and to stop texting me every day. Some people just don't give up. They just never give up. Even when you give them all of the signs and hints, they just keep trying, not realizing that doesn't work. For background info, I moved to a new city about 2 years ago. I was single then and wasn't thinking about dating anyone at the time. I decided to get a dog and regularly take my dog to the park within my apartment complex. Oh God, even worse, this is within your apartment complex? Because I know where this is going. One day, I happened to meet this guy with his dog at the park too. Since my dog and his play so well together, we decided to meet up once a week or so for play dates. Anyways, he asked for my number so we can coordinate doggy play dates in the future, and I didn't think much of it. I know you're probably thinking I'm new in town, it'll be nice to have a friend, but like clearly that's not what was going on in his mind. A few months ago, he asked me out for dinner. I told him I'm not interested in going out to dinner with him if it's a romantic type of date, but agree to hang out as friends and maybe to grab lunch if he's okay with that. Maybe I shouldn't have done that. He agreed to it and said all he wanted to do was spend time with me, but we never actually went out for anything since I got super busy at work. Ever since, he started sending me a good morning and good night texts every day. What the heck? That's ew. That's ew. I don't even like when the guy I'm dating sends me good morning and good night texts. If it's too early on, it just feels like too much too soon. You're not even dating this guy. Y'all are friends and you hardly even hang out and he's sending you good morning, good night texts. Like it's so clear what his intentions are and just... Throughout the day, he'll send me random memes and funny posts from Instagram, despite the fact that I told him that I don't use Instagram. He sometimes would update me on his life and how his work was going. I never ask nor initiate the conversation. I try to keep my reply short with either lol or great, just to be polite. Sometimes I stop replying in general, and he still doesn't get the hint. Oh my God, the texts keep coming every day. I'm currently seeing someone now and don't want to send the wrong signal to anyone else. I really want to be honest with him and tell him to stop, but my friend said it would be really rude of me to do so since he didn't really do anything. And maybe he just wanted to be friends. I mean, maybe he's just lonely and really wants a friend. But the good morning and the good night thing, they said I'm interpreting his intentions all wrong since he never mentioned he's interested in me. He doesn't have to. I don't know what to do and definitely need some advice. Am I overthinking the whole situation? How should I approach the situation? Is it rude for me to ask him to stop? Ugh, yeah, that's tricky. Also, it's trickier since you guys live in the same apartment complex, so if you do tell him like, hey, I think we should stop doing this, stop being friends, stop texting me so much, you're probably gonna still see him at the doggy day park thing. And that's, doggy day park. I was gonna say doggy daycare. The dog park. And that's just icky. I have a very strict no dating anyone that lives in my same apartment complex. And yet guys still try. They still try and I hate it. I'm like, I don't understand why they don't also have that same rule. You don't shit where you eat, okay? Like this is not it. I get this. She got into a slippery slope with this guy. Honestly, my mind is going to, I would text him and be like, hey, I have a boyfriend. I recently got a boyfriend, whatever. I feel uncomfortable having such regular text conversations with you since you're a guy, and out of respect to my boyfriend, I kind of don't want to have guy friends. Maybe you don't have to lie to that extreme, because I'm sure that's probably not the case. Hopefully it's not the case. You're allowed to have friends that are guys while you also have a boyfriend, but he doesn't need to know that. I'd be okay kind of stretching the truth and being like, I'm just uncomfortable texting so much, or even say like my boyfriend is uncomfortable with me texting you, and then he's gonna be like, your boyfriend's so controlling. And that'll be a whole thing. Or just slip into conversation something about your boyfriend and make sure that he really knows that like you have this boyfriend, talk about how in love you are with him, and see if he slows down texting you or not. If he doesn't, either it is true that he just genuinely wants a friend, or he doesn't care that you have a boyfriend and is hoping to be your rebound once y'all potentially break up, even though you guys are super in love. He'll be rooting for you guys to break up, which is not great. But if he knows that you have a boyfriend and he keeps texting you, like, does it make you uncomfortable that he's texting you? Do you not enjoy having this like friendship going on? Is it just the fact that you think he's romantically interested in you and you're not that makes you uncomfortable, but like just as a person you're okay with him texting you? Because I think that also kind of plays a role in this. But yeah, I would definitely bring up the boyfriend and then be like, I don't think I should be texting you so much. Or just like legit just stop responding altogether. I know you said you've kind of already done that, but if you just completely go ghost, which I know is kind of rude and mean and you feel bad, especially if you end up seeing him at the dog park, that one's probably not a good option. If y'all didn't live in the same apartment complex, I would say that would be a decent option. But y'all do live in the same apartment complex, so I wouldn't go with that one. Let's see what the comments have to say. Honestly, it's not rude at all. I've tried being nice, but some guys just don't get the hint. Be honest but civil with it. Good luck. You can mention my boyfriend said when you reply to his texts. Or when he asks for a play date, you can say you don't have time that day because you will go for a movie or whatever with your boyfriend. And OP says, that's a good idea, I'll consider doing that. Yeah, definitely drop the whole boyfriend thing. All right, next post. Did I, 33 female, really do the wrong thing to my husband, 37 male? My husband and I were celebrating our 6-year wedding / 14 years together anniversary tonight. We left work early and had a massage and facial. Everything was good. We then went to a local upscale steak place and were having a good time. I went to the bathroom and secretly asked the waiter to bring a bottle of Veuve Clicquot. Oh, that's supposed to be expensive, right? I learned that from Ariana Grande, who, by the way, I'm inspired by with the ponytail. the 2018 Ariana ponytail. Side note, I'm so sad that she's probably never gonna wear a ponytail like this at her concerts ever again, because I didn't get to go to her Sweetener tour, and I really want to see Ariana with the massive pony. But I don't think she's gonna be that person ever again. Anyway, I learned from her, Clicquot is champagne and it's very expensive. After we finished as a surprise. Context, he got me a bottle when we got engaged. Then we shared a bottle at our wedding. Now it's a should we grab a bottle every anniversary and holiday. I'm still the one who prefers champagne over him, but I'm associating it as a marker for special things for both of us. I wonder why she secretly asked the waiter to. Did you want it to be like a surprise? Like, oh, here's our tradition, surprise! Right before the bottle came, he was asking if we should go somewhere else for one last drink. I saw the waiter coming and said, don't be mad, I already planned for that, and he came and opened it. My husband then went berate on me about how I should have known he would want to leave, that he only ever got the champagne for me, and that even though he liked it sometimes, I only ordered it for myself and not him. Instead of enjoying the rest of our night, we argued about it until we paid and left. And then the entire way home, and now he's sleeping in a different room. Oh my gosh, this is a big deal. Jesus. I really thought I was doing something kind based on nostalgia of our relationship, and I really feel beaten up over this, but did I do the wrong thing? Okay, it's interesting how angry he got over this. It's clearly there's something else underlying going on here, rather than just the champagne issue. Also, it seems like maybe this tradition of yours to get Clicquot, maybe it's a tradition that you like more than he does, and he's finally fed up of like pretending to also like the champagne when he doesn't. And so it just like finally bubbled up and he's just like, fuck this tradition, fuck the champagne, I wanted to go somewhere else. And especially it sounds like he wanted to, y'all should go somewhere else for one last drink. So it sounds like probably wanted whatever drink he wanted, but then you ordered a whole bottle of very expensive champagne and he's like, fuck, I wanted a beer. And now I have a whole bottle of champagne, and he feels like you're just thinking about yourself since he doesn't really like the champagne. He's like, I want my drink. So I wonder if there's many other areas in y'all's relationship where he feels like you do things that you like that he doesn't, that he's always, it's always like if you're being self-centered in any other kind of areas, and instead of communicating about those areas, or maybe he has communicated about them, but it kind of bubbled up, no pun intended, about this champagne situation. Like, why would he spend the night sleeping in a different room? That's wild. Does he normally get this angry about things? Like, is this an unusual behavior, or has this gone on a lot? Like, there's a lot of factors here at play. But let's read the edit before we continue. Update since last night. Woke up this morning, still upset, and talked it through. Ultimately, he apologized, saying that he shouldn't have said anything and was just being a brat. At least he recognizes. We had been drinking some during dinner, so that definitely played into it. I slept on the couch for some of the night, but woke up and went to bed with him later. We're good now. Well, that's good that y'all are good. I hope that you really got to the root of what the issue was, though. The long of it, he reiterated that in the moment, he was really ready to go, not to have sex, to go somewhere else and have a drink. It's interesting because I don't normally do that. I don't get food at a restaurant and then go to a bar afterwards because I'm just not a bar person. So I don't know what that's like. Couldn't y'all have gotten drinks there? I mean, they had been drinking already with dinner. That's just interesting to me. Also, if y'all did leave to go somewhere else, couldn't you have gotten a glass of Clico and then he could have gotten whatever drink he wanted? And it felt like I had extended the evening for something that was focused on solely me and not him. I asked him to not be mad because he had just mentioned wanting to leave when I saw the bottle coming out. Oh yeah, that's bad timing. It wasn't like he told you already that he wanted to leave, but then you decided to order the bottle. But you did secretly ask the waiter when you went to the bathroom, which is a little bit weird. I recapped the times we had shared the champagne together for special occasions and that he always seemed to enjoy partaking. And I was just trying to celebrate us, not me. We were going to order desserts and the bottle came before we did that, so we could drink it during that. So y'all had planned to get dessert and then you went to the bathroom and you came back and he's like, actually, let's bounce. He also tends to rush dinners and I wanted to use our anniversary as an opportunity to talk, connect, not have phones, and enjoy the rest of the evening. Especially if he was willing to go to another place and drink, it didn't seem like it should have been a big deal. I wonder if that's also something that you have communicated with him, especially before the dinner, was that you feel like normally y'all rush through meals, but let's take our anniversary dinner to chill. Let's do things the European way. Let's have it slow. Enjoy our food. After reading comments, I even point blank asked him if he thinks I make things about myself and if it's a common thing, and he adamantly disagreed. Okay, that's cool. I'm a highly anxious people pleaser, to be honest, and he knows this. The cost had nothing to do with it. We both make good amount of money, and he often encourages me to be less frugal and spend more on us/myself. I manage the money and know how much we can afford and where the money goes. He loves massages and gets them way more than me. The day we wanted to get a massage, only one was available, and he prefers them while I'm okay with either a massage or facial, so I gave him the massage to be kind to him. I guess the takeaway here is, unless it's a surprise for him versus us, I should talk it out with him. I also realized I could have ordered it earlier in the meal. I just didn't think champagne and steak went well together and thought dessert was better. It's completely reasonable, that makes sense. Also, yeah, I think the surprise element is interesting here. Sounds like y'all had a good conversation about it though. It still feels like there's something underlying of why he got so emotional over this, but it's possibly not even related to your relationship. It even could have just been he was irritated from his day, from whatever else going on, and then this like triggered it in conjunction with him being like, I hate this tradition, I don't like Clico, you can order it yourself, your own glass, and can you order a glass of Clico? Do you have to order a bottle? You should be able to order a glass, right? They're not gonna make the most expensive champagne be the one that you can only order by a bottle, because then not everyone can afford that, but some people can afford a glass. Anyway, that's not relevant. Yeah, it sounds like y'all need to start changing this tradition. But also the fact that he was so like ready to rush through dinner and get out of there, even though you wanted to like enjoy it. It kind of does seem like there's something else kind of bubbling beneath the surface, this like irritation or anxiety that he can't just kind of relax and let go, and that contributed to him getting so angry. But just the fact that he spent the night in another bed because of this is kind of wild. It really does seem like he thinks that you care more about yourself than him in more situations than just this. Because why would that have made him so angry? So based off the information given here, it seems like y'all had a good talk about it. You've moved past it. I don't know if this is normal behavior for him, if he's acted like this before, or if this is a one-off thing. You know, I would keep moving forward and see if anything else happens. But I love how this is a situation where I feel like 90% of these stories, it's just so obvious they need to break up and they're like, there is no solution. There is no coming back from this. But this is a situation where that's clearly not the case. That like, oh, they just had a little argument about something. She triggered him. They talked about it and they can overcome this and move past it. And maybe there's some underlying issue that still needs to be talked about, but I'm sure that can be addressed at some point. But this is a beautiful situation of let's just communicate about our issues and what's going on, and that not everybody who posts on Reddit has to break up. So that's a great change of pace. It took us 13 episodes. We finally got here. But let's see what the comments have to say. There's something else he's mad about. Yeah, that's what it seems like. Stories like this make me hate the trope of women being overly emotional and men being calm and reasonable all the time. WTF. Exactly. So true. That is so true. Women are always pegged as super emotional, but men have these like angry outbursts. But anger is not seen as an emotion in the world of men. It's the only acceptable emotion, even though it's one of the most dangerous ones. I always find that quite funny, that men suppress all of their emotions, and so then it just bubbles up as anger. And they're like, oh, but that's fine. That's not being emotional. Sorry, it is though. But it is. I feel sad about your takeaway. Despite your husband admitting that he shouldn't have said anything and was being a brat, how does that translate to the takeaway being that you should check in on him on surprised? Another comment replies, that bummed me out too. This excuse is such bullshit. He has his wife thinking she should never give him a sentimental, thoughtful surprise again without potential notice. Has her thinking she should have read his mind and should have realized something so basic like a bottle of champagne with dessert was apparently self-serving. I'm baffled. My spouse and I would have laughed, gotten champagne drunk, and made a night of it. I just don't accept his response at all, and I hate that he ruined their day over this. It hurts my heart that people are out here spending their one precious life with partners who make them feel small and sad over basic things. Call me dramatic, but yeah. I agree that a lot of this sounds like he wanted his wife to read his mind, where he's like, you should have known that I wanted to leave, that I didn't want to sit here with champagne and all this. And yes, this is where communication comes into play because our spouses are not mind readers. And so you shouldn't be getting upset that they didn't read your mind. I assume that he has that assumption because they've been together for, I think, 14 years, they said. He might have been giving hints and clues that he was getting antsy and wanted to leave. So he's like, you should know me better than this. I thought you loved me. Why couldn't you tell that I didn't want to be here anymore? These commenters are being upset that she can't have surprises for him. But I don't know, that feels weird to me because this was like a strange surprise in my opinion. And it's not that she can't have any surprises. I think she even said the surprise is for him versus us, which again, that's still a surprise wasn't a surprise for him. This was a surprise for her and the sentimentalness of Clico. She even said that she knew that he doesn't really enjoy the champagne that much, but that he seems to enjoy it sometimes. I don't know, it's a weird area where I think he has just been pretending to like it this whole time, and so it finally bubbled up and he's just like, I'm tired of this tradition. I don't actually like it. Stop spending your money on this shit for me. Buy a glass for yourself. I don't want it anymore. I want my own drink. So I'm not as upset as these commenters are about the surprise, because I think I thought it was a weird surprise myself. But yeah, him getting this upset and ruining their anniversary night over it, that's definitely a giant red flag, and something else is going on there. He apologized for being a brat, but he needs to look within and be like, okay, why? Why though? Why did you have such a big emotional outburst? So yeah, y'all need to have more conversations. It seems like he just wanted to brush it under the rug the next day once he was sober, being like, sorry, I was a brat. I just wanted to get out of there. But like, I want to know, is this the first time he's acted like this, or is this something that's been ongoing? Because I would be willing to bet that it's something ongoing, but who knows? Who knows? Anyway, enough with that story. We're on to the next post. My 26 female boyfriend, 24 male, has left me feeling unsupported during an abortion and a family member's death. Ooh, okay. My boyfriend and I are together a little over a year now, but few things have happened in our relationship that have made me question how good of a partner he is. Everything was going really well until I found out I was pregnant 6 to 7 months into our relationship. Ooh. It was unplanned and neither of us were ready to become parents. I've always wanted to be a mother, but I felt the situation we were in wasn't right. We were both in our 20s, he's younger than I am, and we felt that there was a lot more that we both wanted to do, separately and together, before becoming parents. We decided that an abortion was the best option for us. Deep down, I wanted to keep our baby, but I knew it wasn't the best choice for him or for our relationship. Ooh, okay, that's a interesting note there. Deep down, you wanted to keep the baby, but it wasn't the best choice for him or for the relationship. That's interesting, because at first it sounds like you're saying you're not in the right place in your life to have a child, which is completely valid. The world would be a lot better place if people stopped bringing children into it during times where they're not fit to be parents, because then they're just mentally fucking up everybody. And we live in a very mentally ill society, and a lot of that would be fixed if people only had children during periods of time in their life where they were in a place to actually raise healthy children. So I support your decision in getting an abortion. This layer about deep down you wanting to keep the baby but knew it wasn't the best choice for him, that's kind of raising some flags for me. In the days leading up to the abortion, I was having doubts and getting very upset at the prospect of what I was going to do. Ugh, that sucks. He knew it was affecting me even before I did it. I began the abortion process on a Thursday as advised by my doctor and had to complete it on Saturday morning. I was told this would be a very painful weekend and would be traumatic for me. What the fuck? Abortions don't necessarily have to be traumatic. It can be, definitely. But I feel like it's kind of fucked up for the doctor to be like, so this is gonna be painful and traumatic. Like, in a situation where it may not be traumatic for someone, I feel like telling them it's going to be traumatic is setting up their expectations to where it's gonna make it emotionally a lot more harder than it necessarily has to be, just because you're told, this is going to be traumatic. Like, that's not helpful. Maybe give them like resources, maybe give them a recommendation for a therapist or something to help them through the emotional process of it. But don't just be like, this is going to be traumatic. I hate doctors. That sounds awful. I was scared of what I was capable of doing and also very scared for myself in case something went wrong. and I really wanted to have a family in the future. However, I did it and Saturday wasn't so bad. I took the pill and had some mild cramping and light bleeding. My boyfriend stayed with me throughout the day and listened to how I was feeling. I felt supported. The next day, I woke up feeling so much worse. I was bleeding heavily and had really painful cramps. Mentally, I wasn't doing well either. My boyfriend has made plans with his friends to watch a football match, and I told him to go. Okay. I would be so fucking pissed of all the things. You're going to go watch some sweaty men chase a fucking ball while I'm going through an abortion? Like, go to hell. But also, you told him that he could go. If you felt off about this, you should have communicated and been like, I'd really prefer you be here. This is like kind of an extenuating circumstance where I think it's okay to ask you to not go hang out with your friends that need some support right now. So both of y'all have something to work on here. I assumed he would be home when the game was over and that I would be okay for a couple hours. Okay. He didn't come back home until 7 a.m. the next day? Wow. So I'm assuming he probably got drunk while you're having an abortion. Oh my God. He never told me he was planning to stay up that late or contacted me at all until he stumbled in the door as I was leaving to go into work. Oh my God. This made me feel so awful and uncared for. It really ate at me that he went out and did that knowing what I was going through. I found out later that he was also doing drugs that night, which was something I didn't know about him before. Oh my God, wow. So if something went wrong and you needed to be driven to the hospital or something, he wouldn't even be capable of that because he is on drugs. He does not care. Wow, okay. Soon after this, my grandmother became very sick. She raised me and I was her only grandchild. She meant the world to me, and her illness had brought huge effect on me. During her illness, I leaned on my boyfriend for support as I have no siblings or father and didn't want to create more stress for my mother. He again offered some support over text, and I felt a little better to have someone to speak to. However, at this point, we had gone over a month without seeing each other as I was in a different part of the country where I grew up. I really wanted him to come see me and my family, even just to give me a break from my reality. He didn't come and said he had already done so much by listening to me for the month that she was unwell. I've already done so much for you, babe. You've been texting me. I cannot handle coming to visit you and physically, I can't handle giving you a hug right now. I've already done so much with these texts. He went away on holiday with his friends during this time as well, which caused me more trauma as a friend of mine saw him in a club with another girl. Ooh. This is a stand-up gentleman. Stand-up gentleman. He confirmed that he was with another girl, but nothing happened. She was just there with her friends who were getting with my boyfriend's friends. Totally, yeah. A few weeks later, the girl in question contacted me via a business I run to reach out and discuss what happened between them. At this point, my grandmother was dying and was moved to a new hospital in the city my boyfriend and I live in so she could get more specialized care. I wasn't in the headspace to hear what this girl had to say, so I never responded to her. I chose to believe my boyfriend because I needed him. Oh my God, this sucks. His going out drinking continued and he wasn't available when I needed him. He would come to see me after I had spent the day in the hospital, smelling of alcohol, drunk, and in a bad mood. This wasn't what I needed. My grandmother was in hospital for a month, and finally the doctors told us she was going to pass in the next 24 hours. I was distraught. I had fought for weeks to find some treatments to extend her life and get her the best possible care I could. So even though she was unwell, hearing that she would pass soon was a massive blow. I called my boyfriend to come be with me before she passed as I was really upset and needed some comfort. But he was out drinking with people from work. He became really angry with me over the phone and said I was being horrible to him for saying I was upset that he was prioritizing drinking over me. You're being horrible to me, babe. How dare you say that I'm prioritizing my drinking over you? My relationship with alcohol is far superior to my love for you, and so how dare you tell me that this is not okay. Oh my God. It's just, He eventually came to the hospital before she passed, again drunk. But I was so thankful he was there. That night, he left for a 2-week golfing holiday, and I have had no support from him since. Basically, what I'm asking is, what do I do now? Is this a normal way to treat someone? I don't know, babe. What do you think? What do you think? Would you treat someone like this? Is it something I just have to deal with? I really love him, and I want him to love me the same way. Ugh. My darling, I am so sorry that you've been in this situation. I'm so sorry about having to get an abortion, about your grandmother dying, and about your boyfriend being a motherfucking dick. But no, you need to get out of this immediately, which I know is not what you want to hear right now because you're grieving your grandmother, and I'm sure your hormones are probably all also potentially still reeling for the abortion, which is not helping with your emotional state and, makes it all just a lot more painful. But you deserve someone who actually does love you the way that you deserve. And ask yourself why you love him. What is it that you love about this man? Because he's not treating you like how a boyfriend should treat somebody. He's not treating you like someone who loves someone would treat them. I'm willing to bet you're not actually in love with him. You're attached to him. You potentially have an anxious attachment style and you just really want a boyfriend in your life. And so you focus on the few good qualities that he has, and you have this void in your heart, which has only grown since your grandmother has passed, and you're trying to fill it with somebody out external from you and clinging on to the small good moments that he gives you. But the bad massively outweighs the good, and it's a million times better to be single than to be in a relationship with someone who makes you feel unloved. I know it's hard. I know it's really hard, especially with everything that you're going through, but it's so much better on the other side. And, right now, he has the potential to disappoint you every time that you ask him for support and he refuses to give it to you. But when he's not in your life at all, you're not gonna have that disappointment anymore. So there's at least that sort of relief knowing that, you can't be disappointed if you're not with somebody like this. So I know it's really hard, but this is a time to lean on your friends, lean on your mother if you have a good relationship with her. She's going through something very similar with you. And thank God you got that abortion and you're not forever tied to him through sharing a child. Because, oh my God, he would have been absolutely awful to have as either the father of your kid or as a co-parent if y'all ended up breaking up. So thank God for that. And he really showed his true colors during that situation and then subsequently during your grandmother's passing. You deserve so much better. Please get out immediately. Find other loved ones to give you support. My heart goes out to you because this is not easy, but through journaling, I hope you recognize, I would definitely recommend journaling about how you're feeling about all of this. Learn how to self-soothe, learn how to give yourself the love that you've been craving from him, because I promise you, giving yourself love will feel so much better than begging for love from a loser like this guy. Let's see what the comments have to say. You don't have a boyfriend. You have a guy who occasionally texts you between his drug and alcohol binges. You need an actual therapist to deal with your trauma, and you need to block this guy and move on from him. He's causing more pain and further damaging your already fragile self-esteem. He's not worth your tears or anguish. He's a cheating, selfish, self-centered jerk who has no business being in a relationship. I forgot about the cheating part. He was doing so much bad shit that I forgot about that part. I started therapy after the abortion to deal with how I was feeling. It helped a lot, but more and more things kept happening within the relationship. Although I still feel really awful about the abortion, it's not the thing that gets me down the most. My biggest issue is him choosing drinking or going out with friends over me. It's just not something I would do. He's a top priority for me, and I try to include him in everything. I think I just find his thought process difficult to understand. It doesn't sound like she actually responded to what the comment was saying. Keep going to therapy, address these issues that's going on with your boyfriend, break up with your boyfriend, have the therapist help you with the emotional processing of all of that. Choose yourself and validate yourself and prioritize yourself, because you're getting upset that he's not prioritizing you, but you're not prioritizing yourself by allowing someone like this to be in your life. I'm glad that you're in therapy. Keep using that for more than just the abortion issues. And also, I hope you come to realize that getting an abortion was the best fucking thing that you did for yourself, because being tied forever to this man would have been the worst thing that could have ever happened to you. So that was almost a blessing in disguise. I don't want to say that, but it was a really wise decision of you to have gone through with that, in my opinion. And for our final post, we're gonna change gears and read a post on the love subreddit so that we can get away from all of the relationship drama and all the heaviness and all of things that make us all very jaded in love the more we read these awful stories. So I figured it would be good to have a positive post talking about the positives of love and end it on a happy note. Had a "this is why marrying him" moment the other night. My fiance and I have been engaged a year and our wedding is next year. Last night, he was playing video games and talking to his friend when I was ready to go to bed. I went over and kissed him on the cheek and said goodnight, and then went into our bedroom. I heard him say, "Hold on one sec," and I immediately knew he was coming in to say goodnight to me. He walked in and said, "I need a better goodnight than that," and kissed me on the lips. I just smiled and thought to myself, this is why I'm marrying him. Short, cute, sweet, adorable. I love that. I love a man who can put a pause on his video games to go give his fiance a proper goodnight kiss, because there's the little moments are honestly what matter so much in a relationship, that if you just give each other like a quick peck, good night, and don't make eye contact and just whatever, go to bed. Over time, like that just does not, it's not a good breeding ground for love to stay alive. But when you take little moments like this, like literally this probably took him less than a minute, but that little moment of connection where he's like, wait, let me give her a better kiss, let me look her in the eyes, give her a proper goodbye, show her that I prioritize her over my video game by being okay putting it on pause for a moment. It's just so cute and so sweet, and I love it. I love these little moments. They're very adorable. So on that note, we'll end the episode here. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to get tea on even more people's love lives, you can watch another episode of the Libra Love Lounge right over here. But until next time, I'm sending you so much love. Bye.